George Soros declares war on nationalism at Davos. At the Davos World Economic Forum, multi-billionaire George Soros launched an erratic attack against nationalism, specifically targeting leaders like Prime Minister Narendra Modi. With arrogance, Soros vowed to oppose these democratically elected leaders whose ideologies clash with his own. Soros is a Hungarian American anarchist and financial terrorist who has been a controversial figure, notably in his own country of birth, Hungary. In 2018, Hungary passed the Stop Soros law aimed at controlling immigration, highlighting the friction between Soros and Hungary's own nationalistic policies. Soros' history of involvement in foreign politics is well documented, with accusations from multiple nations of interfering in their domestic affairs. He is also a notorious financial terrorist who has taken down national currencies of multiple countries. Soros' primary tool for influence is the Open Society Foundation, which will prominently play a part in my expose. Soros is notorious for substantial financial contributions to political campaigns as well, especially those supporting left-wing causes. He has been a major donor to the Democratic Party of USA, backing candidates like Barack Obama and Hillary Clinton, and funding political action committees (PACs) that advocate for issues like criminal justice reform, climate change, and voting rights. His involvement in US politics has made him a polarizing figure, with critics often accusing him of attempting to sway political outcomes with his wealth. His support for movements like Black Lives Matter, his pro-stance on illegal entry into democracies, and his funding of groups critical of certain government actions has all led to accusations of him promoting a globalist agenda. He is also involved in issues like drug policy reform and same-sex marriage rights. His pledge against nationalists was, however, not taken lightly, especially by countries like India and US. Soros' actions is an attempt to undermine the democratic choices of nations like India, where he has historical ties to a significant political party, that is Indian National Congress. On September 16, 1992, an event known as Black Wednesday occurred in UK, where George Soros famously took a massive speculative position against the British pound. This event is emblematic of Soros' approach to financial market, often characterized as financial terrorism. Soros, through his quantum fund, bet heavily against the pound, selling it short. He and other speculators believed the UK would be unable to maintain the pound's value within the ERM bands. Soros' fund reportedly borrowed billions of pounds and sold them, expecting to buy them back at a lower price after pound devalued. On Black Friday, the UK was forced to withdraw from ERM and let the pound float, leading to sharp devaluation. Soros' fund is said to have made around $1 billion from this terrorist act. George Soros is also known for his role in global financial terrorism and currency manipulation, particularly in Asia. He was involved in speculative trading that has at times coincided with significant economic downturns in the region. Soros infamously caused the 1997 Asian financial crisis, which began with the collapse of the Thai currency. He short-sold the Thai currency, which contributed to its devaluation. The event is often cited as the trigger for a domino effect across Southeast Asia, leading to currency crises in countries like Malaysia, Indonesia, and South Korea. Soros' quantum fund was believed to have taken large short positions against the Thai currency, betting on its fall. When Thailand floated its currency due to the inability to maintain its peg to US dollar, the currency plummeted, causing widespread economic turmoil. Malaysian PM Mahathir Mohamad openly blamed Soros for the crisis. The studies after this crisis showed that there was a significant increase in suicide rates in these countries following the crisis. Specifically, Japan saw a 39% increase in male suicide rates. Hong Kong experienced 44% and South Korea experienced 45% increase. It is estimated that the economic crisis was associated with approximately 10,400 additional suicides in these Asian countries. These statistics provides a snapshot of the human cost of terms of lives lost during the aftermath of the Asian financial crisis which Soros caused. In 1998, Soros again attempted to attack the Hong Kong dollar but was famously repelled by the significant intervention from Hong Kong Monetary Authority, backed by the Chinese government, showcasing a rare defeat for Soros. So, this Messiah of the poor and the democracy has literal blood on his hands as part of his direct financial terrorism on Asian stock markets. Now to Soros and Usaid. There is no explicit mention indicating that George Soros or his Open Society Foundation received direct funding from Usaid. However, there are indirect connections and allegations that shows a relationship between Usaid funding and Soros activities. East-West Management Institute. This organization, which collaborates with George Soros' Open Society Foundation, has received significant funding from Usaid. Over a period of 15 years, it was awarded over 270 million plus an additional 90 million through various contracts according to the data from usaspending.gov. This represents an indirect link where organizations associated with Soros always benefited from Usaid financial support through partnerships. Several allegations have surfaced regarding Usaid funding being channeled to groups connected to Soros in countries like Macedonia and Albania. For instance, in 2017, Judicial Watch filed a lawsuit seeking records on supposed 5 million transfer from Usaid to Soros' Open Society branch in Macedonia, alleging the misuse of funds for political influence. There are also plenty of reports like the one from the Gateway Pundit suggesting that the Usaid funneled approximately $260 million to organizations linked to Soros' Open Society foundations. The Open Society Foundations have publicly denied, of course, receiving funding from Usaid, emphasizing they are operating as a private foundation. While direct funding isn't confirmed, indirect funding and allegations of influence does exist. Now, the Soros, Colin Gonsalves and the Rohingya issue in India. Advocate Colin Gonsalves recently made headlines by filing a petition in the Supreme Court of India advocating for free education and citizen-like benefits for Rohingya Muslims and illegal Bangladeshis living in India. The court ruled, of course, in favor of this initiative, sparking further debate on the matter. Gonsalves is notably linked to the human rights law network HRLN, which he founded and falls under the Socio-Legal Information Center. This organization has been receiving funds from George Soros' NGO, the Open Society Foundations. HRLN has been involved in various contentious activities like campaigning against ISKCON's Akshaya Patra program providing midday meals to school children, challenging Indian sedition laws, providing legal aid to Rohingya Muslims living illegally in India, and advocating for the Right to Education Act in ways that disadvantage Hindu-run educational institutions. Additionally, reports have been highlighted that HRLN received substantial funding, around Rs 50 crores, from 4 European churches for legal defense of participants in the 2020 anti-CAA protests. HRLN's connection extend to other organizations like the Right to Food Campaign RFC, which has been involved in protests aimed at undermining judicial credibility of India's courts, notably during the tenure of Chief Justice Ranjan Gogoi. The presence of Rohingya is looked down upon in India because it has raised several security concerns. There have been arrests of Rohingyas for human trafficking and armed robberies. There are also suspicions of strategic resettlement of Rohingyas aimed at altering the demographic character of Hindu-majority areas like Jammu. Rohingyas have also been associated with Hindu genocide in Myanmar, leading to fears about their potential impact on India's internal security. These issues have all pointed to the arguments that Rohingyas does pose a threat to India's national security and that actions need to be taken to address the situation. Now to Rajiv Gandhi Foundation and its connections with George Soros' organization. Fori Nehru, a fellow Hungarian of George Soros, was married to B.K. Nehru, who was a cousin of Jawaharlal Nehru. According to some reports that I came across, Soros had a long-standing relationship with Fori Nehru, including extended correspondence and a personal visit in May 2009 when Fori was 100 years old. This visit was facilitated by Anil Nehru, son of Fori and B.K. Nehru, in Chandigarh. This association raises questions about the potential compromise of India's strategic interests by the Nehru-Gandhi family, possibly for personal gain and alignment with the deep state agendas. The connection between Soros and Nehru-Gandhi dynasty is not widely known, and it goes long before Sonia Gandhi's entry into the family. It includes a history of friendly communication and meetings, highlighting a significant personal link. Rahul Gandhi's Congress party has often been accused of favoring global left policies over national interests, with criticism focusing on engagement with global entities and narratives that could undermine India's sovereignty. This has led to speculation about Congress's role in allowing foreign influence in India's governance. The Rajiv Gandhi Foundation's 2007-8 annual report revealed partnership with organizations like Human Rights Law Network (HRLN), which I previously mentioned, has received substantial funding from Soros' Open Society Institute alongside Christian missionary groups and foreign governments. HRLN's activities include opposing Indian sedition laws, associating with Naxal-linked groups, and providing legal aid to illegals, which aligns with criticism of foreign funding transparency under the Modi government. Moreover, the Rajiv Gandhi Foundation collaborated with the Aman Birdari Trust, founded by Harsh Mandar, who has strong ties to Soros through his role in the Open Society Foundation's Human Rights Initiative Advisory Board. Mandar is known for his activism, notably during the CAA protest, has also been involved in the contentious legislation like the Anti-Hindu Communal Violence Bill, and has engaged in activities that challenge national unity. Soros-funded entities like Socio-Legal Information Center has campaigned against sedition laws, while Soros himself met with Pakistani PM Imran Khan during a sensitive time for Indo-US relationships. In 2021, allegations of the Modi government using Pegasus spyware to spy on opposition leaders were actually linked to a report by The Wire, which received substantial funding from Soros' Open Society Foundation. This incident, along with Soros' involvement in other protests and international critiques of India, shows an agenda to influence India's image and internal policies. The Rajiv Gandhi Foundation's link extends to Clinton Foundation as well via the Rajiv Gandhi Charitable Trust, with notable figures from Congress party involved. Soros' significant donations to Democratic Party in the US create a complex web of political influence, with implications for India's political landscape through connections like Amrit Singh, daughter of former PM Manmohan Singh, who is also working for George Soros linked entity, and others like Shiv Shankar Menon, who served as India's national security advisor during UPA era. The Congress party under the Nehru-Gandhi family is neglecting national security with actions during military engagements like surgical strikes and conflicts at Galwan Valley, highlighting privatization of political power over national interests. The Rajiv Gandhi Foundation also has connection to China and CCP. OP India conducted an extensive investigation into Rajiv Gandhi Foundation ties with China, revealing that the organization headed by Sonia Gandhi received over 1 crore rupees from Chinese government over a 3-year period time. This financial support was used to launch projects that endorsed a free trade agreement (FTA) between India and China. The investigation uncovered that in 2006, the Chinese government donated rupees 10 lakh to RGF ostensibly to support its charitable activities. Imagine Chinese Communist Party doing charitable activities in India. This was further confirmed by the documents from the Chinese embassy in India's website at the time, where it was noted that Chinese ambassador donated rupees 10 lakh to the foundation, which has strong affiliations with Congress party. The scrutiny of RGF's, that is Rajiv Gandhi Foundation's, financial statement brought to light a potentially more troubling narrative. It was not only a one-time donation. The CCP continued to fund the RGF in subsequent years. Sonia Gandhi serves as the chairperson of the foundation with Rahul and Priyanka as trustees since 2005. Particularly alarming revelation came from the examination of 2005-06 financial year, where it was discovered that the donations were not only from the Chinese embassy but directly from the Chinese government as well. This was further evidenced by the 2006-07 financial returns, where the government of China was listed as having donated rupees 90 lakh to Rajiv Gandhi Foundation. These financial ties between Rajiv Gandhi Foundation and the Chinese government during UPA shows the influence of foreign powers on Indian politics. This raises some serious concerns regarding national security as well as sovereignty of India under Congress party. Now to Elizabeth Gogoi and her connections to Pakistan, ISI and foreign influence. The Assam cabinet has recently ordered an inquiry into the actions of a person called Ali Takir Sheikh, a Pakistani national who has been accused of targeting India and specifically Assam. Allegations have emerged suggesting Sheikh's close association with Elizabeth Gogoi, the wife of Congress MP Gaurav Gogoi. Elizabeth is a British citizen and has reportedly maintained her British citizenship even after 12 years of marriage to Gogoi. Assam's chief minister stated that the cabinet would address this issue after Sheikh's provocative comments on social media about India's internal matters. During a Sunday meeting in Guwahati, the cabinet resolved to investigate Sheikh's activities and his collaborators in India, especially Elizabeth Gogoi. Public records indicate that Sheikh holds significant sway within Pakistan's government circles and has represented Pakistan internationally. Gaurav Gogoi is a Congress MP who established Farm to Food, an organization in Jorhat, Assam, aimed at fostering sustainable farm-based livelihoods. The NGO unsurprisingly partners with National Foundation of India, which receives funding from George Soros' Open Society Foundation, along with the other usual suspects like Ford Foundation, Omidyar Network and Rockefeller Foundation. These are entities that represent deep state actors opposing India's nationalist governments through various anti-India activities. Now, to Gogoi's Farm to Food is not registered under the Foreign Contribution Regulation Act (FCRA), prohibiting it from receiving foreign funds directly. However, its collaboration with international bodies raises questions about potential FCRA violations. The 2022-23 annual report shows Farm to Food received grants and donations but lacks transparency regarding the source. Ali Sheikh's connections extend to Elizabeth Gogoi, where both have been involved with Lead Pakistan, a climate change focused non-profit organization, during her time in Islamabad. Both Sheikh and Elizabeth Gogoi are linked to the Climate and Development Knowledge Network (CDKN), an organization working in Pakistan and in India on climate actions. Now to the BJP's allegations against Rajiv Gandhi Foundation. On 15th December 2024, the Bharatiya Janata Party accused Rajiv Gandhi Foundation (RGF), described as a key vehicle for the Congress Party, of collaborating with Human Rights Law Network (HRLN) in 2007-08. HRLN is said to have received significant funding from Soros' Open Society Institute. The BJP, through a series of posts on social media platform X, questioned whether the RGF was using foreign funds to promote anti-national agendas, noting that Sonia Gandhi chairs these foundations. BJP criticized the partnership by asking, why would a foundation linked to a major Indian political party tie up with a foreign organization with such dubious connections? BJP also brought up RGF had received taxpayer money during Congress government in 1991 under Finance Minister Manmohan Singh. Moreover, the BJP accused RGF of accepting donations from the Chinese government, questioning how a party concerned with national security could take funds from an enemy country that poses direct threat to India's sovereignty. The party further criticized the Congress under Nehru Gandhi family for prioritizing power over national security, citing their constant criticism of Indian Army's surgical strikes and conflicts at Balakot and Galwan Valley, taking an anti-India approach in all these cases. The Open Society linked to Soros have been active in India since 1991, starting with scholarships and later investing over $90 million in various projects via Aspada Investments in Bangalore since 2008, and the Open Society got entry into India via the Nehru Gandhi family. Following the Adani Hindenburg controversy that was created by Soros, The financial terrorist had commented that the Adani Group's issue could weaken Prime Minister Modi's sway over India's federal government, adding fuel to BJP's criticism of foreign influence in Indian politics. Now to the allegations of Usaid involvement in India's electoral processes. On February 16, 2025, the US Department of Government Efficiency (DOGE) released a post on X detailing the cancellation of various funding programs. Among these, one allocation stood out in India: a $486 million grant to Consortium of Elections and Political Process Strengthening (CEPPS), which included an extra $21 million, that is rupees 182 crore, aimed at boosting the so-called voter turnout in India. Now, this is a clear case of external interference in India's election, and it was orchestrated to favor specific political outcomes, especially for a Soros preferred candidate. There has been particular scrutiny on whether this funding was linked to George Soros, with questions raised about the motives behind such foreign involvement in India's democratic practices. CEPPS, established in 1995, describes itself on its now defunct About Us page as an alliance of non-profit, non-partisan and non-governmental organization dedicated to fostering democratic governance globally. So if it is non-profit and non-governmental, how is it getting USAID, which is basically the US taxpayers' money, for its use? Anyway, the coalition includes the International Foundation for Electoral System (IFES). This is important, keep this agency in mind. The International Republican Institute (IRI) and the National Democratic Institute (NDI), which are operational arms of CEPPS in various countries. USAID is the primary funder of CEPPS, supplemented by contribution from other international donors. Over the years, CEPPS has claimed to support election monitoring, civic education and institutional development to bolster democratic practices across regions like Asia, Africa, Eurasia, Europe, Latin America and Middle East. However, and unsurprisingly, the organization's website has become inaccessible since January 23, 2025. This is all based on Op India's research into the matter. Now to a report by USAID Inspector General from 2019, which highlighted that dependency on a single entity like CEPPS for political support could lead to significant risk, including reputational damage and accusation of external meddling. The fact that IFES, funded by Soros, entered into an official agreement with the Election Commission of India in May 2012 under the Congress rule sparks debate about foreign influence on India's electoral system itself. This MOU was aimed at enhancing the so-called democratic institutions and electoral mechanisms, facilitating exchanges of knowledge, joint training, research and capacity building through ECI's India International Institute of Democracy and Election Management. Before Soros, election was happening pretty well in India. So what was the point of this? Needs to be studied. The agreement was formalized by then Chief Election Commissioner of India S.Y. Qureshi and William Sweeney, then President and CEO of IFES. Anyway, a deeper concern lies with IFES, one of CEPPS's components, which receives funding from private entities like Google, Meta, Microsoft and George Soros' Open Society Foundation. Soros have rightly been accused of engaging in activities detrimental to India's interest, and Indian National Congress is its ally. Now to the future of this financial terrorist. George Soros has 5 children, and among them Alexander Soros have been noticeably active in continuing and expanding his father's political and social activism and anarchy, which is referred to as disruption policy. Now, Alexander Soros has taken over as the chairman of Open Society Foundation, succeeding his father in 2023. He has said that he is even more political than his father and aims to broaden the foundation priorities to include issues like voting rights, abortion rights, and gender equity. Political influence of Alex Soros needs to be investigated as well, as he is involved in directing political activities in US through the family's super PAC, Democracy PAC, indicating a continuation of influencing political landscape to align with leftist causes. He has also pledged to oppose nationalist movements and figures echoing his father's public stances. Alexander Soros has been vocal about continuing the mission of promoting open societies, defending democratic values, and challenging authoritarianism, which are central to George Soros' alleged philosophy. His involvement in funding progressive political candidates, aka the leftist candidates, and campaigns in US is seen as a direct continuation of his father's political meddling. While Soros' other children have not been prominently taking up the mantle of activism, Alexander Soros stands out as the primary figure continuing the disruption policy. So please be careful and watch out for this guy in future.